me that he needs to turn that on the airplane mode. People are not going to record. People are going to...
Rabbi, we have to put this on airplane mode.
People are calling in.
They're calling in already.
Someone's just calling in. Well, airplane mode, it won't work, right?
Or you could, yeah.
Because there's no signal. Oh, because it's Zelvy now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's working. It's all right. We'll figure it out.
Okay, Rabbi Weiss, can you hear us?
Yes, we hear you fine.
Okay.
You okay? You can, everyone can hear?
Though we cannot all be standing here together at the graveside, physically holding each other up, we gather today, both physically and virtually, to share words of praise, words of honor, and thanks, as we remember with love our beloved Robert Bob Zelvy, a beloved husband, a beloved father, a beloved grandfather known to all as Papa, a beloved cousin, golf partner, card shark, lawyer, and friend. At this point, Cantor Schiffman will begin by chanting Psalm 23, and then Rabbi Weiss will also recite a psalm.
A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down by green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Thank you, Cantor Schiffman and Rabbi Weiss. Today is a difficult day because even though our beloved Bob had his fair share of health problems, his health scares, we always thought he'd be with us, that he'd live forever. He was so incredibly strong, and yet we gather today to bid farewell, to remember with great love, for Bob has departed from this world with a good name. He's at peace, leaving behind many in mourning the love of his wife Sandy of 61 years, his 3 children and their spouses who were like his own, Darla and Andy, Andy and Gary, Michael and Audra, the apples of his eye, his grandchildren, Ryan and Sydney, Sammy and Mike, Haley, Lyle, Lily, Megan, Ivy, and Brian. Bob now rejoins all those who have gone before, his parents, Sam and B. Zelvy, and all those from the Zelvy and Stein family. 2 of Bob's grandchildren now are going to share special tributes. First I'll call up granddaughter Sammy.
So I'll be reading words that my brother Lyle wrote, and for anyone who knows us knows it's usually the other way around. I don't think my brother or sister have submitted a paper in the last 20 years that I didn't write, but today Lyle's words I think we all share in his sentiment. Growing up, a nice way to put my existence was a homebody and a couch potato. But the main reason I loved sitting on the couch and staying home was because my papa was always there next to me. Papa wasn't just a grandfather to me, he was a best friend. No matter what the sport was, and yes, there were times we watched cornhole together, we both loved spending that time together and bonding. Papa ingrained Cleveland sports into me from the very beginning, and I'm not sure whether or not to thank him for that. But what I am sure I want to thank him for is the lifelong memories I have of us rooting for our teams together and screaming at the TV. Watching sports and playing golf will never be the same without you, but there will never be a time I won't think of you while I'm watching or attempting to play. Papa, you are the ultimate family man, and it was so obvious to everyone around you how much you loved us. I hope I can carry on those extremely strong family values and make you proud every single day. You fought a tough battle, and true to your character, you were a stubborn son of a bitch all the way till the end. But it's time to rest now, Papa. You deserve it. There will never be a day that myself or your loved ones will not think of you, but I'm glad you're in a better place now and watching over all of us. Rest in peace, Papa. I'll continue to love you and make you proud every day.
And now we'll hear from grandson Ryan.
My heart sank last week when my mother called me to tell me that my papa was not doing well. Still though, I had hope that he would pull through. If you knew Bob Zelvy, you'd be a fool to ever count him out. We've been down this road before. Years ago, Papa was revived on the floor of a casino. When he regained consciousness days later, the first thing Papa said to me in the hospital was, "I hope you didn't pack a suit. I'm not dead yet." This was followed by that trademark Bob Zelvy laugh. It wasn't his time. It wasn't his time last year on the golf course in Florida either. Unfortunately, this time, I had to bring a suit. Stubborn? Sure. Politically correct? Not usually. Papa was unapologetic and passionate about his family above all else. His love and sense of humor were contagious. In true Frank Sinatra fashion, he did it his way. Papa, though you are not physically with us, the love, traditions, and values that you have instilled in your family remain the foundation that will ensure we continue to thrive and grow. I speak for all of your grandchildren when I say, we miss you, but we will always know you are there supporting us. We love you, Papa.
Thank you for those beautiful tributes. Or as I say, the words come from the heart, enter our hearts, and you truly brought Papa into each and every one of our hearts. A good neshama. Bob was simply said, a good guy. man of integrity and honor, a mensch. Bob had a true zest for life. He was passionate, so full of life. He lived life with a smile, with a twinkle in his eye, with his incredible inner strength and toughness and his heart of gold. He never minced words. He said what he felt. He could be stubborn and tough, or other words that you said, because he was always filled with love for you and for his friends. Caring and compassionate, his law practice was based on the highest ethical values, compassion and justice. He loved his sports. He loved a Browns playoff run. He loved his cards. He loved his golf, and most of all, he loved you, his family. You were his everything. Bob was a family man, patriarch of the family, the head of this big family gathered here, the center of it all, the one that everyone came to. A true Clevelander, Bob's family moved from the city of Cleveland to the Heights when he started elementary school. He was an only child. You jokingly told me Bob was spoiled all of his life. Raised on Washington Boulevard in the Heights, he graduated from Heights High and then graduated from Ohio University. It was there at OU where he met his beloved Sandy. They met the old-fashioned way, at a bar. Bob and Sandy lived nearby on campus. Her dorm was not far from his fraternity house. They struck up a friendship which began that night at the bar and blossomed into true love. Sandy, you told me it wasn't quite love at first sight, but you both kept getting pushed together. It was like gravity, fate, or God. It was bashert, meant to be. Married on August 16, 1959, more than 61 years ago, while you were still in school. Your dad even needed to come down to the courthouse to sign you away. The wedding was at your home shul in Columbus, Tiferet, Israel, on a hot summer day when the air conditioning was broken. Together you were a true pair, the best twosome. With love and respect, you traveled the world, you bowled, you golfed, you told me we had it all. He was an incredible father. Darla, Andy, and Michael, you told me you knew how much Dad loved each one of you, but he sure was tough. You told me about his famous curfew, making sure you would be home each and every night, and the story is of how you tried to avoid that curfew, usually staying over with friends. You told me Dad loved being part of the fun. Your home was right in the center of Beechwood, the meeting spot for all of your friends. So your friends became family for Mom and Dad. You told me Dad was the sports coach. He was always competitive, and even when he was coaching your team, he made sure the team won. So if he didn't think you were the best player, he'd put you out in right field and say, "Don't touch the ball, let Sheila get it." You were the camping family of Beechwood, snowmobiles and RVs, taking the camper out to Ravenna, those famous caravans to Florida with the Berkowitzes. And when Andy, Gary, and Audra entered the family, his heart grew even wider. He loved each of you like his own, always so close with each one of you. He was the ultimate papa, as you already heard from Sammy, Lyle, Ryan, and so many others. Maybe not the most hands-on father when the kids were little, like so many from his generation, but he was always there, and especially always there for his grandchildren, active and involved papa. He loved you each so much. A young grandfather that had a special relationship with each and every one of you. I'm told that he put golf clubs in each of your hands even before you could walk. He loved playing golf with you, taking you out on the course, and even though he may not have had patience for his own golf game, he did with you. You told me Papa very clearly lived for his grandchildren and kids, heavily invested in each of your lives. You joked how he loved food. If anyone ever tried to steal a French fry from his plate, he'd take your hand off, except if you're one of the grandkids. Then you could take as many fries as you wanted. He always wanted to make sure you each had all that you wanted. If you had breakfast and you were still hungry, he'd take you out for a second breakfast, always making sure you had dessert. For Bob, it was always family first. He wanted you to be a close-knit family. You spent winter break together in Florida at your houses in Palm Beach Gardens, and there was the famous Camp Sandusky. Every summer, all the grandkids would visit Bob and Sandy together in Huron. lining up the air mattresses all throughout the condo. You'd always be playing cards, gin rummy with Papa, go out on the go-karts or the jet skis. Your grandparents would take you all through Cedar Point. He loved family. From growing up, his mom was one of 14, and that large Stein family would get together. In fact, he was raised with his cousins as siblings. They remained so close throughout, and now only Dolly is left. Bob was a lawyer, a darn good lawyer. 50 years or more in practice, well respected, a lawyer that took care of his clients. He recently received a special award from the bar for his half-century of legal work. But he began working in the family business after college, Zelvy Brother Containers, close to what we call recycling today. But his dad pushed him to go to law school. So after college, when Sandy and Bob moved to Cleveland, living with his parents, you started a growing family. It wasn't until the kids were old enough to go to school that Bob shifted to law work. Still working for the family business, taking law classes at night. When he made the switch to law full-time, first he worked in a firm in Cleveland, then on his own. His specialty was personal injury and workers' comp. It happened that he took on a case in the Sandusky area, and there he realized that there were so many factory workers that needed his help representing them that he moved his practice there. He was known to be extremely devoted and caring to all his clients, always fighting for them, the underdog, making right. He loved to share their stories with the family because he considered them like family. His work in the Sandusky area led to their place in Huron, on the water in Sawmill Creek. Sandy and Bob loved it there and loved it when the family was there with them. Bob was the president of the Condo Association, and he shared the story that at one time there was a special meeting for the Condo Association he was holding, and there was a long complaint brought forward about young people driving golf carts around the area. As the meeting was going on, one of your grandkids was driving a golf cart right past them. Bob announced to the Condo Association, "Well, there goes my grandson on a golf cart." His home golf courses were Hawthorne Valley and Stonehill Creek. He had his regular poker games, the Monday night one and the Thursday night one. As you heard, he loved his trips to the casino, an avid Cleveland sports fan, playing in the Beechwood Men's Softball League. Years ago, Bob was a member of the Beechwood Fire Department. He shared the story that one time he had to make a fire call to the house when Sandy was cooking steaks and started a fire. For the last 15 or so years, Sandy and Bob have lived in Andy and Gary's home. How special to be able to be together. It made Bob so happy to be living with family. As you heard, Bob did have a series of health scares. He told me he had 9 lives, always managing to recover. I know because I'd usually visit him in the hospital during those times. He gave you at least 5 extra years of life. You joked how that first scare happened at the casino and the second on the golf course that Ryan mentioned, and the list goes on, and you told me that you put a deck of cards and a golf ball in his casket as a reminder. Bob was a good friend. He was a mensch. He was kind, tough, but truly he was loving. Through it all, Bob always had a smile, that twinkle in his eye. He loved you all so much. I saw it at Sammy and Mike's wedding. I saw it when we blessed Sandy and Bob at their milestone 60th wedding anniversary at the synagogue just a year and a half ago. Bob has been in and out of the hospital, and during COVID especially, it hasn't been easy. He'd watch the Browns from the hospital bed, and when they won, he woke everybody up in the entire hospital. He followed them. It gave them much joy. You always made sure that Bob was comfortable. You made sure that Bob was encircled with love. He held on so that you could all be together, this family, together again. Encircled by you, Bob had all that he needed. And I want to make a note that Sandy, you were Bob's everything. The love of his life, his golf partner, his guardian angel. You all made him so incredibly proud. We can surely say that Bob is now at peace. He is suffering no more. May his name always bring blessings, and we say, Amen. Amen. At this point, we're going to pause as the casket is lowered into the grave. At that point, we'll have the opportunity to shovel some earth on the casket. Following that, then we'll continue as Cantor will lead us in the memorial prayer. יושב בסרטי יום בצד שלט, אורנה מעלרי מסרטי להוידו פוקו, כי יוצא כמפקה כשמדבריו, פירבתו יסקק, תקף כנפת אקססינו וספר המיתולו, תדמפק עדיין למקר שיפיר מהמדבר ויופי מי כתב ישת סהרוי מבו מצקדה, פרבו ממינקר לקליגש, רק פינקת ויתקשו למקרשים תירה, יתה אורנה מקסיה ים סנטמונה פלוטרנו לקרוא, and I glory of the Allah, Kimaka, Yatsavak, Shmakamaka, the Rakaka, Pain Yasuunka, Antigo Faban, Rabaka, Shakabet, and Hidro, Kimuska, Furvetani, Kibikashaka, Faplay, Wasaki, Yoshimi, Ukraine, Viano, Yoka, the Taraka, Sevia Kabdeo, or if Yami must be over your Shuati, or if Yami must be over your Shuati. family that wants to participate in the ritual shoveling.
This is the big stuff. You gotta take it all at once.
Go around to the other side, Kenny. Be careful, you're going around. You come right this way. If you want anybody else, be careful.
We're going to reconvene now for our closing prayers. Kaddish Shipman, do you have Bob's Hebrew name? Okay. Kaddish Shipman will lead us in the Almaldi Memorial Prayer.
Can I get a phone? Get a cell phone. Someone have a cell phone they can give me? Sorry.
I'm speaking.
I know.
Does anyone have the Zoom link on their phone to turn on? Sorry about that. Yeah, I think they can't just stuck on Zoom. They can just get back on the Zoom. Yeah. Thank you. We're good. Sorry about that.
I apologize.
Can you hear us?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
We hear
we're
you.
back.
You're back.
If the cantor's still there, if you can begin the Amale again.
Can't we chant Al Male again? Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Okay.
El Male Rachamim, O God of compassion, we pray, exalted, compassionate God, to grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Reuven, our beloved Robert, Bob, Papa, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he merit the reward for living a life filled with kindness, love, and may he rest in peace. And we say, Amen. It's at this point that we're going to ask for the family to recite the Kaddish Prayer. If you're able to rise, if you can rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbo B'yoma divrach hirute v'yamlik malchute B'chayecho novyomecho novachayeh dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach b'olam olamei omaya Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'or v'yitramam v'yittaseh Yitadar v'yitala v'yitalal shmei kudsha brichu La'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran b'olama v'yimru Amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Dear God, we know that you have created us both with a physical body and with a soul that lives on forever, is eternal. As we lay Bob here in Cleveland beside his parents of blessed memory, we know, Bob, that your soul is ascending to heaven. We pray that from heaven you're able to look down upon us, to still be a part of each and every one of our lives, to still bless us, guide us, to teach us, to still make us smile as we remember all the love that you gave to us. We will never forget you. We'll carry you on in our hearts and in all that we do. May your name always bring blessings, and we say, Amen. Thanks to those joining us on Zoom. It's difficult not to be here together. We know that had it not been this time, that the funeral home would have been overflowing. For all the love, all the friends, all the extended family and all the friends that were extended family. For Sandy and Bob, you have an incredible circle of friends because you share your love with so many. But we're in this difficult time where we can't all be together. I hope that the family knows how much love there is for each and every one of you, and how everyone loves Bob, has a story about Bob, has a story that brings a smile to their face. Where everyone knows Sandy, how you are that love of his life, and that we are sending our comfort to you. May he only be remembered with love, and we say, Amen. This concludes our service. Thanks again for all those able to be here virtually.
Thank you to everybody who was on the